So what are you guys doing?
Packing.
Why are you packing?
Because we're leaving.
Where are we going?
North Carolina.
What?
North Kakalaka.
Lucy, you got some splaining to do. There we go.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, we're moving. We've actually known that we were moving for a few months now, but we're waiting until a few things fell into place
Right.
to tell you guys. So it's kind of a long story. So we figured we needed like a sit down and explain how we got here. Which, if I wasn't lazy, I could go find the footage of myself from, 6 months ago, saying that like we were gonna like raise our have grandkids visit us in this house. And you were like,
Oh, I said, unless our plans change.
which they did.
Welcome to our world, if you're new around here.
All right. So do you want
So-
me to start?
Sure, you can start. Can I go blow my nose real quick? I got a
Oh,
little bit of
okay.
runniness.
So I'll start.
Okay.
So the story really begins last, March? Yeah. Last March we were in Portugal and we were tired. And
Yes.
at that point we were planning on coming back to the United States, to Utah, for the month of like mid-August through mid-September. Because we had a work conference and we thought, oh, well, we can like go see the dentist and get any doctor's appointments done that we need to. But we were really tired, and we thought, wouldn't it be great to just like, or no, I think it was more like we realized how much we needed to do when we were home.
Mm-hmm.
There's driver's licenses, all sorts of stuff, and we thought, we need more than a month. So then we thought, then we thought maybe it would be like 3 months.
Yeah, it just kind of kept getting extended as far as what time we thought we'd need.
And then we thought, in Portugal, we said to the kids, what if we just like went home for a while?
What if we just leave right now?
Yeah, what if we just go home for maybe 6 months or more?
Home being the United States. We didn't
Yeah.
really have a home to go to. So
Yes.
that when we say home, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and so everybody, it was funny, we brought it up, I remember distinctly bringing it up at the dinner table there in Portugal, and everybody cheered. And we were like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess you guys are tired
Everybody
too.
was kind of tired at that point.
So, just ready to go and sleep in your own bed and not live out of a bag. And so we came back, but our thought at that point was what?
Well, we thought we would just, I think at that point we thought we'd just rent a house, right?
Or no, yeah, but like we wouldn't
it's
be.
hard to remember.
We wouldn't be here very much.
Yeah, well, the idea was if we did have a home here, that we would be gone a lot, like traveling. We'd still be out most of
We'd
the time
only be
traveling.
here like at Christmas and that sort
Right.
of thing. And so yeah, we thought we'd just rent a small house, and we decided on Utah because, for one thing, we knew we had family here. We also knew it had a good international airport.
Mhm.
And then we also knew that like we had several nieces and nephews in college in this town, and that they would be able to, while we're out of town, maybe watch our house or even stay in our house. So it just like all felt like that's a good
the
place to go
yeah.
to have or like a house that we're in part of the time. And so we came back with that intention, got here, mid-April, late April, and had set up a house to rent. I forgot.
Oh, you're right. We did. We found
We
them
had a
before
house to rent.
before we even left Portugal
Yeah.
or Spain at that.
And we were just going to rent because we knew that we actually didn't even know.
Right.
We knew we didn't know long term what we were going to do, but when we got here, that rental fell apart, and so we were kind of at a loss.
Mhm.
And started looking for other rentals. We weren't really finding anything, and then we just went and looked at what was available for sale, and this house
The
was.
home we're currently in.
And we knew it was a stretch, but we came and looked at it without what?
Well, I don't even remember how we made the leap from renting to suddenly wanting to buy like a huge house. But
Yeah, renting a small
it
house.
seemed like from renting a little tiny house that we wouldn't be in very often to a huge
I know what
house.
happened. We just, on a whim, came and looked at this house for the heck of it and it was so amazing and so perfect for our family. And we didn't have a realtor, but the homeowner's realtor, said
he showed us the house.
He showed us the house, and we said, we're not really ready to buy a house like this. And he said, well, why don't you? And we also said we need somewhere to live right now because we were staying in an Airbnb. He said, well, why don't you rent this house until you're ready to buy? At this point out many months from now, and we'll close then. And we were like, is that even possible? And he said, yes, it's totally possible. So we moved in like 2 weeks later. It was crazy whirlwind.
Yeah.
Fast. But we loved the house. It was pretty exciting. And so that closing, we decided with the owner and with the realtor would be in September. So had the summer here. If you guys remember, we had nothing and bought furniture, furnished this house. We love it. We love the house. We still love this house. We think it's an amazing house. We also didn't include you guys in this much of it because we had never had a house while having a YouTube channel.
Oh, right.
And like within days of telling you we were getting a house, everybody knew where the house was and the exact location, which was very stressful. Everybody knew the address of this place.
We didn't do a good job of not showing like street
But it was like
names
once
and
it was
stuff like
out,
that.
we were like, oh my gosh. So anyways, September comes, and literally like 4 days before closing, I don't know why I said literally, but I guess because it really was like 4 days before closing, the bank got a little spooked about how we had been homeless for the years before. Because if you have been watching our channel, you know that we were traveling.
Yeah.
And I guess for them, that made them nervous. And so they asked for a description of what we were doing in writing. And we started to get a little nervous when they asked for that.
Right.
But we thought, it's a formality. It's probably just going to go in with all the paperwork. You wrote out what we were doing, gave it to them. They're like, thanks. And then they came back after the weekend, and they were like, what did they say?
They said we need to see a year's rental history.
Yeah, 12 months of rental history. And we were like, but we told you we were traveling.
And they said, well, we don't want, to them it wasn't good enough to try to piece together Airbnbs and hotels and stuff, and it would have been a nightmare as far as trying to pull that together anyway. So they said we can't do that. So
they said either you give us more in a bigger down payment, or you have 12 months rental history. And we didn't want to give them a bigger down payment, and we didn't have 12 months rental history. So like it all just completely fell apart. A house that we had like had a custom made furniture for, like we had planned our entire lives in, right? It was totally, like, what's the word? Devastating. It was devastating.
it was, yeah.
It was really devastating. And for like a week, we walked around like zombies, like, what are we going to do? And then we thought, you know what? We'll just keep renting, and we'll come back with another offer in a few months, and we'll still be our forever house, right?
Which the homeowner was willing to do. So the homeowner listed the house again, and we just said we'll rent the house while you're listing it, and then we'll come back around. We'll circle back around, and we'll actually buy it, and hope that it doesn't sell in the meantime.
And that's why we couldn't tell you guys, because we didn't want to make the same mistake we'd made before, because the house was listed and you could see exactly where we lived. So that kind of freaked us out. We didn't want to do that because once that information was out, and if we lived there 25 years later, it was still out. You know, that's how the internet works.
Yeah.
And so we didn't tell you guys. And everything was fine. Everything was normal. We were just moving ahead with that.
As normal as it could be, I mean, considering that situation.
Yeah. But then a few months later, in November, Elijah said, kind of out of nowhere, I was out, we were up in Salt Lake shopping or something, and he said, maybe the house didn't work out because we're actually supposed to move back to North Carolina. And he's like, and actually, I would really love it if we did that. And all of a sudden, it was like when he said that, I had never considered that because remember when we came home, we weren't going to really live here full time. And so North Carolina didn't really work for us because there wasn't anybody to watch our house and things. And so it didn't make as much sense, so we didn't even consider it. But now when we're not thinking of traveling all the time and only, more like on vacation time, it hadn't come up because we're so focused on the house. And so, but when he said that, it was like an explosion in my brain. And I texted it to you. And what was it like for you when you got that text?
Yeah, it was like immediately that made sense to me because for some reason we couldn't. This house wasn't coming together. Even in that interim time, it was we couldn't see how it was actually going to happen.
Yeah, when we and also kind of emotionally, it was like, why is this not working?
Yeah.
And so then we kind of came home from that day out and discussed it with the rest of the family, and pretty much everybody was like, yay, let's go back. And so very quickly, this house unraveled, and one thing,
like mentally for us,
it was hard actually because we love this house.
Yeah.
But I remember you said, but it's just a house. Like, we can have a great house other places.
Right.
Let's stop acting like this is the only great house in the world.
Which is hard because we kind of said that before and felt it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
But
funny
so
how
yeah.
your thinking sort of can evolve.
Totally.
So
it really quickly unraveled, and here we are. I actually got back yesterday from North Carolina, found us a great house there, and now we're packing up and planning on leaving in 4 weeks, moving out there. So
just like that.
Welcome to North and South. And I will this time, we will not promise you that we'll be there forever. I don't know where we're going to be forever. You don't know where you're going to be forever. But I also know, given our track record, that, and in a good way, there's more adventures ahead.
Right.
So I know all of you are wondering, but how do the kids feel about it? And, well, for one thing, it was the kids' idea. And
it came from a kid.
They're all pretty excited about it. They're all pretty stoked, especially now that we know where we're going.
Because it is a place we lived before. They have people they know there. They have friends there. We are not.
And we do have family there too.
Yeah, we do have some family there. So we're not. It's not like we're uprooting the kids and throwing them into a whole new situation again.
But you also have to remember, our kids are really dynamic.
Yeah. They're kind of used to it. In fact,
and there are kids.
Well, just yesterday, didn't Andrew? Because we've been kind of working on packing a little bit, just the past few days, and Andrew's like, actually, I'm kind of used to this. Like he said something like,
I'm really good at packing. I love it.
Yeah. So.
Me too, kid. Me too. No, so that's where we're at, and we've been like, when are we gonna tell the channel? When are we gonna tell the channel?
All right, Mom. So what are we doing for dinner here?
Norps have something that we've really mastered in the last 6 months that we really didn't do before that, and it's called free for all. Because, and I think we've shown you guys before, like when our kids were younger, you couldn't really do that as much, but now it's just like we got a ton of food in the fridge, leftovers and others, so have whatever you want. So some people are having pot stickers. We also have like this Asian chopped salad.
Hang on.
I'm having like a omelet. And Andrew, what are you doing?
I'm
Breakfast
having
sandwiches?
Yeah, egg McMuffin sandwiches. Not Mick.
Yeah.
Mommy?
Egg muffin sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're having these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mommy.
So that's what we're doing for dinner, and then you can see. Come here.
Okay, so you want to show them our packing progress?
Yeah. So Mike has already packed all our books on our shelving unit and took all the decorator items off.
The kids actually got the decorator.
Oh, did they? Good job, guys. And you're being really careful about labeling them, right?
I'm trying to be. When you let the kids help, that
Mommy.
organization can kind of go out the window.
I want to eat
You're helping pack?
She
That's
helped
good.
pack the books, is what she's saying.
You did upstairs? Good job.
You
Esther too?
Yeah.
Daddy, can I call,
Yeah.
No, I want to keep those because we might need those.
I think I figured out.
What are you doing, Eve?
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Start at the store.
All right, so yeah, the packing has begun, and it's Eve really wants to be on camera. So it's that whole like packing things that you don't need, and the whole balance of then waiting to pack the stuff that you do need till the end. And so it's a balancing act. So we've done it a few times, so we kind of understand it, but it's been a while, and I'm kind of tired of doing it. So I'm hoping that this is kind of the last time we do it for a while. So Right?
Idea.
What?
Mommy, yes, eat my iPad.
Your mom said you could be on the iPad?
Yeah, eat.
Oh, after you eat?
Eat.
Okay. Okay. All right, well, we're gonna end the video now. We've jumped forward a couple days. We stopped recording and forgot to keep going. So, gonna end it now.
We're so busy packing.
We're so busy, as you can see. Megan's not packing exactly right now, but things are already starting to look bare around here. So we're packing it. We're making it happen. So we're gonna start showing you that now that we've announced we're actually doing it. So like, comment, subscribe. Go to northprintsouth.com and stay tuned to follow us along as we do this whole thing all over again. Pack it up and move it across the country. So we'll see you later. Bye.